Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for stopping by the channel. So this video is kind of a departure from what I normally do for my in-depth watch reviews because I'm going to be focusing more on the emotional and financial cost of ownership for modern Rolexes, and in particular the Rolex that I purchased last month from my AD. This is a 6-digit Rolex Submariner, the 124060. And I've owned it for just over a month now. I've definitely got some feels, so I wanted to discuss that quickly with you. And I hope that some of this also resonates with you guys that are out there. For context, I've been on my local authorized dealer's Rolex waitlist for 2 years now. And they're very approachable and friendly to deal with, but I'm also under no illusion that me updating my purchase history with this AD by buying some like jewelry and not too long ago a Tudor Black Bay Pro likely helped me jump up in the standings to be allocated a Rolex Submariner when one came in. Now, from the financial perspectives, you're already dumping some money in just with the relationship you have with your authorized dealer, but then you also have to consider what the retail price for a Submariner will net out at the time of purchase. And what I mean by that is that Rolex does tend to increase their prices a few percent year over year. So when I was originally put on this Rolex waitlist, this Submariner right here cost around 10,000 Canadian dollars before taxes. And because 2 years has elapsed, and with inflation, I'm now paying 11,000 Canadian dollars plus tax for the exact same watch, which I wasn't really a big fan of. I was a little bit bummed out actually, because for example, with that same $1,000, you could have ran out and purchased a micro brand diver or one of the new Seiko divers that scratched a lot of the same itches as a no-date Submariner might have. Now, another emotional and financial thing to consider is the timing for when you get that fateful call from your authorized dealer. For me, I got the call last month, and the timing actually couldn't have been better. I recently got a management bonus from work, and I was also expecting a bit of a tax return. So for those reasons, I was able to actually pick up this sub without going into debt, and that's something you should never do for any luxury purchase, in my humble opinion. Now, hypothetically, what if the financial timing wasn't good and the Rolex authorized dealer called me? I would actually still have a really hard time saying no and passing on purchasing a Rolex at retail. So that's kind of like FOMO, or fear of missing out. And for other brands, I typically wouldn't experience that type of temptation to buy a watch, even if it fiscally wasn't responsible at the time. Now, all that to say, I did ultimately, of course, purchase this watch and have been wearing it on and off for a month, really enjoying it. But then another thing comes into play, and that's buyer's remorse. Now, typically for really large watch purchases, I get buyer's remorse pretty hard for about a week or two. And fortunately, my better half is really good at patting me down, and she's also very supportive of this wristwatch hobby, which I'm extremely grateful for, and it's nice to have those supports in play. Now, kind of transitioning from buyer's remorse, I also find that anytime I make a big purchase, it's fairly disruptive to some other watches in my collection, which typically I have a fairly fluid collection. It's usually hovering around 10 to 12 watches, but to recoup some of the funds for making such a large purchase, I will impossibly a lot of times sell different watches, which I end up regretting down the road. So in the case of this particular Rolex Submariner, I sold 3 different watches within about 2 weeks' time of picking this up. The biggest regret is I sold my Tudor Pelagos FXD, which, if I'm being honest, I just think has a little bit more character as a daily driver and dive watch when you compare it to something like a Submariner. But then I also sold a limited edition Zin 556i, and then also I think a Zelos Blacktip GMT, which is a micro brand diver as well. Now, thankfully, I didn't sell one of my favorite divers in the collection, and it's the watch on my wrist today. That is this Grand Seiko SBGX 117. This happens to be the very first Grand Seiko diver with their quartz movement inside, And at a glance, I think it resembles very much a no-date Submariner because it also doesn't have a date. It's got a similar black dial, and it's just a great sports piece. If you're actually interested, I might consider putting together a comparison video between the SPGX 117 and the Rolex Submariner later. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section of this video if that is something you want to see. So these are all internal feelings that I experience, and usually within the comfort of my own house. But then let's talk about some more external environmental factors. And I think these are your typical tropes you'll experience in the wild if you own a modern Rolex sports watch. So some of it can be a little bit more pedestrian in terms of like social interactions. You're going to get the people saying, "Oh, nice Rolex, is it fake, is it real?" All that jazz. But then it can also escalate a little bit more into the heightened vigilance that you need if you're going to be wearing this watch in kind of a sketchy area. You don't want to make yourself a target or for your watch to get stolen. Now, personally, I'm a fairly large gentleman, so I'm not too worried about being mugged for my Rolex. But that being said, I'm not in the habit of trying to draw attention to myself. But guys, at the end of the day, I do really enjoy owning the Rolex Submariner. I mean, it's such an iconic diver. If I'm being honest though, it's not the best dive watch for the money that's out there. I think there are a lot of other examples of watches that scratch the itch. For example, my Tudor Pelagos FXD is a prime example, as is this Seiko SPGX 117. But those are kind of my thoughts in passing for making this video. I do hope that some of it resonated with you guys, but be sure to drop your thoughts in the comment section of this video. And hey, if you enjoy this content, why not consider liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel? It does help me out a lot. And as always, I can't wait to catch you guys in the next video.